Hey everyone, thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. I am going to be reviewing and discussing the new release by Too Faced, their Le Grand Palais. Is that how you say it? I have no idea because I'm Italian and Polish and I took Spanish in school, so there is no chance I'm going to be able to pronounce that title with any sort of finesse. So if you know how to tell me to pronounce that, feel free to drop that in the comment section below so that I might have some idea of what it is I'm talking about. Anyway, for today's purposes, we are going to be talking about the Le Grand Palais Too Faced Eyeshadow Palette Plus kit. And so if you're interested in hearing what I think about this collection, then let's get started. So here it is. Here is it literally comes in a box, actually. So that's why I was saying initially that it's more than just a palette. And the packaging is very pretty with this little medallion that says Too Faced. It's got this little bow on top. Oh my god, so cute. It really is meant to be more decorative. I don't think it's very practical because you're not really going to pack a box with not all that much stuff in it if you're traveling. But if you like packaging like this, then that's great. And this was then created for you. My feeling on packaging in general is I don't want the packaging to suck because that's annoying, but at the same time, I don't necessarily care if the packaging is out of this world because I would much rather you devote your attention to product quality than the packaging. And you'll see in a minute why I feel like they should have spent a little bit less time on the boxing and a little bit more time on the product that's inside, but let's get into that. So like I said, it is a box that has a hat, and you take the top of the box off and it opens up. Oh, it's so cute. And so, okay, it's cute. I'm not sure if it's meant to look like, if you can see the kind of shimmer and the glitter of the background. I'm not sure if this is a boutique or somebody's house. Quite frankly, I think it's somebody's house who has a lot of money because it's very ornate inside. There's this like spiral staircase little thing over here, and the walls are tall and decorative. Kind of looks like the inside of a castle or something. I don't know. My house does not look as grand as this inside. Oh my gosh. Is it supposed to be a palace? I just realized that. Is that why they call it Le Grand Palais? Is that the Grand Palace? Okay, so perhaps we are inside a palace at this point. Oh my god, how did I not catch that? I've said this name, Le Grand Palais, like a million times trying to say it correctly for the video, and it didn't occur to me. Okay, anyway, so, okay, in the back you've got a couple of items that are kind of just standing perched, which is kind of funny. They're like mannequin pieces, I don't know. There's the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara, a little tiny travel size, and this is the brush inside. It's kind of chubbier on the end. Okay, that's kind of fascinating, whatever. There also is their shadow insurance, which is appropriate because there's also an eyeshadow palette. But there's a tiny little tube of their shadow insurance. And then finally you get one of their melted liquid lipsticks, which I was very excited about because I heard that these are really, really awesome and I have yet to own one myself. So I'm gonna put them back in their little stands. And now I'm gonna grab out the eyeshadow palette, which sits at the bottom, which did not want to come out. And so there is no mirror. This is the top of the packaging. There is no mirror anywhere. I don't know, I'm not quite sure how I feel about that, but let's just say for the record, there is no mirror. So this is well, it's like an eyeshadow. That's why I was saying it's like a palette plus collection because you've got a series of what is that, 5 times 3, 15 shadows in the center, 3 larger shadows on top, and then you've got 2 blushes, a highlighter, and a bronzer right there. And it's very fancy and very shimmery. So a couple more pieces of factual information. I got it at Sephora. I got it a hair earlier, and what is that, like a day or so, than anyone else could. Because I'm a VIB Rouge member, which means I've actually just spent way too much money on makeup, but hey, if you're gonna spend that much, get a few perks, right? So I got it at Sephora.com and it retails for about $58. They say that its value is about $300 and I don't really care how much you think it's worth. I really care what I'm going to get for the money that I have to take out of my wallet or out of my checking account or put on my credit card. I don't really care how much you think it's worth. I just want to know that I'm getting about $58 worth of product when I spend that kind of money. So I think it's just kind of a ploy, or I don't care. I don't care how much you think you're worth. My question is, are you worth 58 bucks? Too Faced is a great brand. Right now I am in love with their Born This Way foundation, as are many other people. And so I had very high expectations for this kit. My impression, unfortunately, is that although I don't hate it, I really don't love it. And there were too many little things about the kit in total, in general, that just made me kind of go, meh. So let me go into kind of where I come up with that decision. So let me start with what I do like. I love the idea that you get more than just eyeshadows. It's not just an eyeshadow palette. You get the primer for your eyeshadows, and then there's also a very good selection of blushes, and then there's also a highlighter and a bronzer. So I really like the concept and the idea of kind of putting everything together all in one place. You know, like especially if you're like running out last minute and you're like, shoot, I need to, you know, I know I'm gonna need to kind of do an all over touch up. What can I grab? And you can kind of grab this kit, perhaps not in the box, but you get the idea because it's giving you everything kind of all in one place and all in one palette. So as far as the eyeshadows first to start with, I love that they go beyond just the normal neutral colors because I typically will not go out and buy an individual bright shadow color. But I like that when I get a kit, sometimes I'll get some options that I most certainly do not own otherwise. There's a really good selection of matte shadows as well as shimmer glitter shadows, or I should say matte and non-matte, because some of the shimmery ones got a hell of a lot of shimmer, but I'll get into that in a second. So it's a really good balanced collection. Like I said, matte and non-matte, and some neutral colors and some bright colors. The first thing I look for in every eyeshadow palette is a crease color, because I can't stand when they create an eyeshadow palette and there's no crease color, because then you gotta be like, oh, let me grab my eyeshadow palette and then let me get my crease color. And not all palettes, eyeshadow palettes, have a really good crease color. So this one does. This one is called, I'm sorry, it's so shimmery, it's hard to read. This one is called Cobblestone, and it's a very neutral brown crease color. So that actually made me really, really excited. In addition to having a pretty awesome crease color, I kind of like this collection of shadows even for just holiday or night out, because they're not just some colored shadows. For example, there's this blue one, which is called Midnight in Paris, and it's pretty blue. I mean, it's a blue with some shimmer and reflection in it. And there's a green one that's, you can't even read the names though. Not that you really care what a shadow is called when you're using it, but for conversation purposes, it helps to be able to read the name of the shadow. Oh, it's called Eiffel, and it's a green, it's a metallic green in the same family as the that blue one. And so they're for when you're going somewhere. Like if you're going clubbing, you're going out to a holiday party or something and you want to look really extra special, that's what a lot of these shadows accomplish. Especially this one, which is called Party Dress. Oh my gosh, it's pink. It's so pink. Yeah, see what I mean? That's a shadow. That could almost like be a really good looking lipstick, but that's a shadow. That one takes some practice right there. You don't just want to haphazardly throw that shade on your lid right there. So definitely some amped up colors in this collection. And so if you don't normally have those in your collection, then this is kind of a nice place to get it all in one without bothering to have to go buy individual shades. Finally, I love that the blushes are matte in color, and there's a peachy one and a pinky one, because I like to put my shimmer and my highlight where I choose. And when you start off with a matte blush, see there's a pink and then there's like a peachy pink. When you start off with a matte blush, you get to control the shimmer application. So especially for a palette that you're trying to market to a wide variety of people and preferences, it's always good to start with the base, and in this case that's a matte blush, and then you can allow people to build from there. So that's what I like about the kit. What I don't really like, what I'm not a fan of, is a lot of little things, and unfortunately I feel like they kind of just all added up to make me overall not a fan of this collection. So let me kind of itemize it out so that you know what I'm talking about. First of all, the shimmer shades in this, eyeshadow shades in this collection have hella glitter in them. I'm actually kind of excited that they have so much glitter in it because I really just wanted to be able to use the word hella. I'm in love with that word. So hella glitter is going on in this collection. But when I even received the package, I hadn't even opened it yet, and there were flecks of like glitter and shadow on the outside of the box. I don't know if that came from this box or from another box on the assembly line. I'm not really sure, but there was mess already and I hadn't even opened the box yet. Just by touching a shade, it deposits powder fragments and powder pigments kind of everywhere, not only just kind of in the air, but also on the package itself. And I don't think the camera will pick it up, but I can literally wipe shadow away from in between the individual shades because you barely touch them, like I said, and they're just, it's like poof. I feel like they're not really pressed in there very firmly either. I feel like when I go to swatch them, I feel like I'm moving around and denting quite a bit of product and I'm barely applying any pressure. So I don't really have a lot of confidence in how tightly packed these shadows are, and also they just piss me off because they just make a mess so easily. The amount of powder pickup is just kind of incredible. I was thinking I was gonna do a get ready with me with this kit, and I was doing some trial runs and it was a mess. Clearly, if you are using these shadows, you will be applying your face makeup after you do your eyes, and I know that that's an important technique that we should utilize when we're using darker shadows or if the shadow has a lot of fallout. Almost dropped it, and if I dropped it, I think it would have just spit itself out all over the place. But I prefer to do my face makeup first and my foundation first, and so it was a disaster when I had to try to get all of the pigment and fallout out from underneath my eyes. It actually, like, it looked like I walked into a rain of glitter. Like I had glitter like to my nose and around my mouth. I mean, I should have known better when I touched the brush to the shadow. I should have known that it could have potentially like gone everywhere, but I was just excited to use it, and I discovered the error of my ways when I was done, and I was completely glittering all over my face. So the last thing I want to talk about in reference to the shadows is their level of pigmentation, and this is probably the most disappointing feature of this entire kit for me, but that's just me. The matte shadows are better. So for example, there's not that many mattes, but so the matte shadows have decent pigmentation. This is that crease color I was talking about before, and then these are darker versions of a brown. And so the matte shadows have pretty decent pigmentation, but it's the shimmer glitter shadows that just were really disappointing. As I was swatching that blue and that green before, oh my gosh, there's like a crater now in each of those little shadow palettes right there because it's like they're so fragile. So, you know, they're pretty in and of themselves. Based on the way they look in the pan, you just really expected them to be awesome. And I'm applying a lot of pressure and a lot of product on my hand right now to get them to show up this good. It's even worse when you attempt to put them on your eyelids. When I use the green as a lid color, and it just was barely showing. And my problem was, as I tried to deepen it up and add more shadow and add more powder, let's say, it was just making more of a mess all over my face. I go back to what I was saying, that they had a lot of fallout. So you can't increase the pigmentation by adding more product because then more of it winds up all over your face. And so that's just ironic. It really should not be working out that way. The shimmer shades that I was saying weren't really as pigmented, you can help your situation by using Fix Plus, spraying your brush with Fix Plus and using the shadows wet, but they're still not giving the intensity in shade, in color that I was looking for. And the Fix Plus helps it and helps address some of that fallout, but still not enough. You have to work with them a lot because they really just kind of are lacking in pigmentation, and that's time consuming and messy and frustrating. I'm just going to comment on a couple of the other products now within this kit. Like I said, I already talked about the blushes. They're matte, and that's great, and they've got decent pigmentation. The highlighter color, which again I can't really read, it's called Flush, and it's decent. Where is it? It's up here. Can't even see it. It's up here. It's a little bit whiter versus warmer, so it's cooler versus warmer, whiter versus gold. And it's okay. It's okay. I'm not loving the bronzer. The bronzer has a little bit of shimmer in it. The bronzer is a little splotchy. It's also, oh my gosh, it's really orange there. I was just gonna say it's a little bit orange, and now I look at it on my hand and it's like mega orange. That's no good. No, I'm trying to be positive. It hurts me to be a little bit mean, but it's a shimmer orange for bronzer. I'm like, no, that's no good. So now that I'm not really feeling the palette itself very much, let me give you a couple of comments that are about the other products that are probably now clouded by the fact that I'm kind of just over the palette itself. The Better Than Sex mascara, I don't really like trial size mascaras. My problem is when the brush goes in the tube for the trial sizes, if you look, this is what you're looking at, right? This is how much that it can go in. This is how much the little brush can go in. I'm going to use my face as the backdrop there. The brush itself is not really getting covered in mascara. So you get a majority of the mascara at the tip of the wand and nothing up at the top of the wand because this tube is too small. If you've got a full-size mascara, the brush portion of the wand goes all the way down into mascara product and gets coated somewhat evenly. With a trial size, that's too difficult. Some are better than others. This one does not work out very well. The little tiny shadow, what they call shadow insurance, which is the eyeshadow primer, it works really well as a primer itself. I think it does prevent creasing. I don't think it's the best one out there, but if you don't have super problem oily creasing eyelids, or oily eyelids maybe that might cause shadow to crease, then I think this would definitely help you out. My problem with it though is that it's not tinted really. I mean, there might be like a slight tint to it. I didn't really study it per se because I just knew it wasn't enough tint. I love using the MAC paint pots simply because those are tinted, soft ochre or painterly, whichever matches your skin tone. But I have kind of red splotchy eyelids, okay? And it looks like I've either had a very rough night out on the town or I got into a fight. And so I need to address that before I start applying eyeshadow. So I appreciate a shadow primer that's got some tint to it. And this unfortunately doesn't. So it wouldn't be something that I would reach for by habit. Finally, there is the Melted Liquid Lipstick, which these are actually really wonderful products. I love the concept. I love the little kind of like angled fuzzy applicator. I think that's a lot of fun. I think they picked an awful color for this collection because if you're going for shadows like I was showing you that were so vibrant and colorful, that teal and that vibrant blue, I'm kind of thinking you might want to go for a nude lip. And so I appreciate that they gave me a melted liquid lipstick sample, but this is Major Bright Pink. And I put the lipstick on, and depending on the color of your lips themselves, it may even come off a little bit pinker. And if you've got an intense green or navy eyelid, you might be a little bit better off with a nude or a more nude lip color. And this, as far as, I mean, I think it's a pretty color in and of itself. But if I've got a collection, I kind of want to use the collection at one time. And you really, unless you went with a very basic neutral eye look off of that palette, which I suppose, yes. But unless that's what you're doing, you really can't wear this lipstick. So if they had gone with a more neutral shade, then you could wear it both with a natural eye or with a very intense eye look. And you can't do that with this. So that does not add up for me. So I don't know. I really wanted to be a fan of this. I was really excited for it to arrive. And then ultimately I just was a little bit frustrated, a little bit confused, and more than a little bit disappointed. And I really hate to say that because I do love Too Faced as a brand. Unfortunately, I think they might have tried to cram too much into a kit or have a $300 value for 58 bucks, and they kind of cut back on the quality just a little bit. I can't really say it, but I don't love it, and that's my last word on it. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. I really appreciate it. If you like this video and want to see more like it, please give me a thumbs up. And if you are not a subscriber yet, I would love it if you subscribed as well. Tell me what you think about this kit in the comment section below. Or maybe tell me what other kit I might want to invest some money in, because that sounds like a fun idea. I am on Instagram and Twitter if you have a minute to check me out over there. Again, thanks so much for spending this time with me. I hope you have a really good rest of the day, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Thanks.
Oh no, don't start that. We're just getting started. There's no yawning. But I think that comes from the doom and gloom right now that's currently happening outside. There's not a lick of sunshine, and it's like white. The sky is white, which is so awesome. Okay, no yawning. Ready to go. I don't know, Too Faced. You made me do it. You made me say something that wasn't entirely nice, and I don't like not being nice, which is why I had to start off with what was nice about you, and that was a stretch to begin with, too. You look so cute, and yet you failed. You didn't really fail. You failed me. So, I mean, oh my gosh, there's powder on the outside of the box. Why do I hold my breath so much when I'm trying to talk? Oh my gosh, I finished like a segment, and I'm like, not that it really cared, not that it really